France is a known tourist destination across the world, especially for those who are into romantic places. Its beautiful chateaus, towers, and architectures make the country a perfect place to explore new things while meeting new people. More than their love for wine and cheese, this incredible country has a very rich culture and history that will make you fall in love with it over and over again. 1. You can marry dead people in France. One of the least known France facts is that in French law, there are cases where you can marry a person even after their death. The country simply requires proof that the dead had a legitimate intention to marry when they were alive. After this is confirmed, the French president will then approve the marriage. 2. The first face and heart transplant in the world took place in France. French surgeons performed the first face transplant in 2005, while the first heart transplant was in 2013 at Paris's Georges Pompidou Hospital. The device mimics real contractions of the heart and runs via batteries that are 3 times more the heart's weight. 3. The shortest reign of a king in France lasted only 20 minutes. In July 1830, Louis Antony, who was the last dauphin, became the king of France after his father's abdication. However, he ended up abdicating himself in no less than 20 minutes. 4. France is a country of inventors. We should thank French scientists and inventors for a lot of things we use today. The Braille system, a writing and reading system for the blind, was created by Louis Braille. The stethoscope was invented by René Laennec, while Alexander Ferdinand Godefroy holds the honor of making the first hairdryer. Meanwhile, the Montgolfier brothers are credited for the first hot air balloon flights. 5. France was the 14th country in the world to support the union of same-sex partners. France's 24th president, François Hollande, signed the bill for same-sex marriage in 2013. This made France Europe's 9th country to ever legalize the law. Not all of the French population were happy about the decision, and thousands protested in the streets to defend their family values. 6. France hosts the biggest cycle race in the world. Tour de France is the greatest cycle race in the world, with the first event held in July 1903. Since then, France held the competition in July, running for 23 days straight each year. Annually, cyclists would compete on being the first to finish the 2000 mi race around France. 7. France produces at least 1,200 cheese varieties in a year. The French are devoted to their love for cheese. For them, it is an ancient form of art that dates back to 500 AD. With this, France produces tons of cheese in the billions all year round. 8. A 10-second recording in France was the oldest human voice recorded. The oldest existing recording of a human voice dates back to April 9, 1860. Recorded by French inventor Edouard Léon Scott de Martinville using a phonautograph, the audio featured the song Au clair de la lune. To this day, the 10-second audio clip remains the oldest recorded human voice in history. Definitely one of the creepiest France facts to date. 9. The longest book in the world is French. A French writer, Marcel Proust, published the longest book in the world called Remembrance of Things in the Pasteur et Laure Church du Temps Perdu has over 3,000 pages. It has hundreds of thousands of plots and strands. In 1913, the book's first volume got published. 10. France is the European Union's second largest population. Next to Germany, France holds second of the largest population, covering at least 13% of the EU. It has the highest rate of birth in 2014, too. 11. France was part of the Roman Empire from 58 BC to 476 AD. From 700 to 500 BC, the Celtic Gauls arrived in France. However, Julius Caesar defeated them, making France a part of the Roman Empire. Throughout this period, kings ruled for many centuries until the French Revolution and Bastille in 1789. Now France officially functions as a democratic republic. 12. A French inventor first developed the camera in cell phones. In 1997, French local Philippe Con invented the first cell phone camera. Intending to document his wife's birth, Khan created a software and hardware interface with his Motorola StarTAC flip phone, a Casio QV10 digital camera, and a laptop. Truly, one of the most amazing France facts. 13. Impotence was a crime in France. In 17th century France, men may be charged with a crime if found unable to get an erection. If a husband exhibits impotence, their wife can file a divorce. If the husband objects, the issue can only be settled when they have intercourse in front of a judge. Luckily for men, the law was abolished in 1677. Truly one of the most obscene France facts that we have heard today. 14. Public transportation was first introduced in France. Before it was a part of our everyday life, Blaise Pascal launched the very first forms of public transport in the 1660s. The earliest form of public transport featured horse-carried wagons with fixed times of departure. 15. Women were once not allowed to wear pants in Paris. We have already established that France had some of the most bizarre laws, and this one does not disappoint. Namely, a law in 19th century France prohibited women from wearing pants around Paris. If caught, offending women would be charged with a fine. Surprisingly, the law had not been abolished until the year 2013. 16. France is the world's biggest producer of wine. Good news for wine lovers out there. France produces at least 50 billion hectoliters of wine every year. In fact, there's actually a yearly competition between Italy and France to see which country produces the highest number. But so far, France always came on top. Now, that's an amazing example of France facts. .17. Marseille is France's oldest city. Marseille is the oldest and second largest city in France. It was founded in 600 BC. One of the interesting things about this place is that they get to have 300 days of warmth and sunshine in a year. Talk about sunny France facts. 18. The French flag is also tricolor. The country's flag features a simple design of three colors: blue, white, red. France's current flag was first used in 1794 during the French Revolution. Since then, it became France's official flag. 19. The French word salad is both a goodbye and a hello. It's universally agreed upon that the French language is quite complicated. For example, the word salad can both be used as a goodbye and a greeting. If you visit France, your interactions with the locals may begin and end with the same words. 20. The Eiffel Tower in Paris was once unappreciated. Named after the tower engineer Gustave Eiffel, the Eiffel Tower received a lot of backlash and bad comments when it was first constructed. Many locals deemed the tower as very ugly. Eventually, the tower received international attention and is now one of the most visited places on Earth. 21. Not everyone in France speaks French. Although the majority of the French population speak the official language, some of those who live near the borders of Italy and France speak very fluent Italian. This is one of the France facts that make us appreciate the country more. 22. French is a Romance language. Do you remember being asked what languages you think are the most romantic? In reality, there is what we call Romance languages. In fact, French is one of the Romance languages in the world, along with Spanish, Portuguese, Romanian, and Italian. Of all these languages, their common denominator is having Latin origins. 23. France is not a French word. France was originally called Gaul, but after the Gauls were destroyed by the Germanic barbarian tribes, Franc was used in its place. The term translates to free. Eventually, it evolved into France and became its name since then. 24. France had the first automobile license plates. The French were always innovative and forward-looking. With this, they introduced the license plate concept in 1893 for cars and automobiles, which the rest of the world then adapted. 25. France has the lowest obesity rates in Europe. Although France is the culinary mecca of the world, France has the lowest obesity rates in Europe. It's the lowest among the OECD countries, with an obesity ratio of 1 in 10 French citizens. However, reports show that overweight rates may increase by 10% within the next 10 years. (26) France's oldest bridge is called New Bridge. France's Pont Neuf is the oldest bridge standing across the Seine River in Paris. It wouldn't be such a novel fact if the name didn't literally translate to New Bridge. The Pont Neuf's construction started in 1578 and finished in 1607. (27) France exports luxury items. One of the more commonly known France facts is how France ranks among the leading exporters of luxury items in the world. With companies like Cartier, Louis Vuitton, and Chanel to boast, it's no surprise that the country stays on top when it comes to designer brands. 28. Paris is the city of light. Most tourists believe that one of the most romantic places on earth is the Eiffel Tower in Paris. We cannot discredit that because aside from that, Paris is the city of light, La Ville Lumière. It has survived a lot through the years, and its motto testifies to that. She may be tossed by the waves, but she does not sink. It's also called the City of Light because it had a major role in the Age of Enlightenment, and it's also the very first city in Europe to use gas for streetlights, monuments, and boulevards. (29) France banned unlimited ketchup and salad dressings. The French are health-conscious individuals, and the government fully supports it. In line with this is the banning of unlimited salad dressing, ketchup, and mayonnaise in school cafeterias. Although ketchup is still served with meals, the government puts it under heavy regulation to protect the health of the children. 30. It's okay to drink alcohol at work in France. Offices in France allow alcoholic beverages for employees. Beers, wines, pear cider, and hydromel, fermented honey drink, are totally okay. The only rule is that you drink only in moderation, as your bosses may send you home if you have had too much. Better save those bottles of alcohol for the weekend. 31. America's Statue of Liberty was a gift from France. Countries around the world strive to live in peace and alliances. In order to commemorate the alliance of the United States and France during the American Revolution, the French people gave America the Statue of Liberty. It landed on American soil on June 17, 1885. The statue was a symbol of hope for many of the French liberals that democracy will always prevail, and that justice and freedom for all peoples. (32) France is a leader in the perfume industry. The French industry of perfume is nothing but legendary. Most of their brands and products are in demand across many countries. It is in demand for over 100 countries where sales are skyrocketing. In fact, 30% of all the perfume products marketed in the world are from France. Some of the most famous brands include Chanel, Estée Lauder, and Christian Dior. Now, that's one of the most fragrant France facts today. 33. French workers enjoy 5 weeks of vacation. Most of the countries in the world work a 9-5 job with at least 40 hours of work in a week. If you live in France, their full-time workers have an official work of 35 hours in a week, while part-timers for an average of 23.30 hours. Work is still on Monday to Fridays, but the schedule depends on the company. 34. The Loire is France's longest river. The longest river found in France is the Loire River. It rises in the southern Massif Central and flows west and south for at least 1,020 kilometers or 634 miles to the Atlantic Ocean. It enters through the south of the Brittany Peninsula. Since the river is prone to regular heavy flooding, many dikes line its banks. 35. There was a plan to remove the Eiffel Tower. Paris is best known for its Eiffel Tower. However, the famed structure was originally just a part of the Centennial Exposition in France in the year 1889. Originally, the French government planned to remove it after 20 years. However, they eventually opted against it since it gained so much popularity. A like is appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.